There hasn't really been a year in recent memory as consistent and promising for R&B as 2016, and so I thought it'd be fun to take a trip down memory lane, rewind the clock back to the best music of 10 years ago. Starting with the Billboard Hot 100, I respect singles like Starboy and One Dance for how well polished those songs are respectively, and while not charting exactly in the Hot 100, honorable mention to Daniel Caesar's Get You featuring Kali Uchis. Love the sparse atmospheric production on that track, impassioned vocals. But yeah, what I really want to talk about are these fantastic albums, starting with number 10. I'm a little bit surprised I don't hear more talk and discussion surrounding this album and really this artist as a whole, because there are just some incredibly classy, elegant rock, soul, fusion songs going on in this project. I guess my only complaint is that I wish there was a little bit more sonic variety across the album, but each song is just so well balanced, cleanly produced. Yeah, it's just a great album. Maybe not the critics' choice due to widespread mainstream appeal of hits like 24 Karat Magic, That's What I Like, Versace on the Floor, Finesse. But when you really give this thing a listen front to back, Bruno and the producers were not playing around. I mean, you can really tell they were a fan, first and foremost, of the styles they emulate on this project. These are, for the most part, very faithful representations and reinterpretations of early New Jack Swing, R&B, and funk. And at least in my head, a bit early to this wave or trend of pop artists embracing these 80s revivalist approaches to their sound. I understand this album got a lot of press at the time due to the scandal involving Jay-Z's unfaithfulness being revealed at this time to the public eye, and not to mention the music video for Hold Up, where Beyonce wears her bright yellow dress symbolizing a river god. There's even a great country cut on this album as well. On Daddy Lessons, you got a more introspective ballad on Sandcastles, as well as James Blake's disintegrating, devastating sonic landscapes on Forward. Jack White supporting the rock tune Don't Hurt Yourself. Kendrick Lamar with the mind-bending counting verse feature on Freedom. Moral of the story, if you give Beyonce lemons, she will make a great album. Producer Knowledge and Anderson .Paak come together for this joint album as No Worries. These are pretty short songs where Knowledge digs up and loops these insanely groovy, sensual R&B samples and instrumentals. Alongside Anderson .Paak's smooth, ever-flowing delivery just creates this match made in heaven. Favorite moment is probably the track Scared Money. Knowledge and .Paak hop on this throwback revivalist 80s synth pop or city pop instrumental that feels like such a wild card compared to the rest of the album, but a great predictor of things to come. Even his NPR Tiny Desk from this year is also just insane. I mean, it blew my mind to learn that he's singing while he's playing the drums and leading the Free Nationals all at the same time. Super talented guy live, and one of my favorite Tiny Desk performances as well. You know, there are just certain sounds, beats, patterns that you can just recognize in music. It's kind of like finding a shiny Pokemon in the wild. When you hear a new song that you've never heard for the first time that has a slight housey, sidechained kick clap in it, and you just think to yourself, was this produced by Kaytranada? So for a bunch of sounds that are mixed to be so cut and dry, the drums create such an expansive atmosphere, dancey, catchy. It might be a small detail, but the way that Kaytranada pans the clap or the snare drum in the mix is just so unique. It creates this super full mix, great display of strength on the production front all across this album. Great features from the likes of Kareem Riggins, Bad Bad Not Good, Little Dragon, Anderson .Paak again, and if you just want a sampler, the track Got It Good, absolutely monstrous track. While it may not be the fully fleshed out project that would come later on in 2018, this project is still an incredibly refreshing listen. There's this nostalgic sheen across the production all over this album. The hooks are so catchy and memorable. This feels like the auditory representation of a hazy, hypnagogic, washed out memory where the synapses are on the verge of fading away. Both Beyonce and her sister Solange decided to casually drop just two of the best, most important albums of their whole career in the same year. No big deal, but just goes to show how stacked this year truly was, and I actually think I prefer this album over Lemonade. I mean, not only is this a fantastic, somewhat minimalistic neo-soul album, Solange gives us these interlude accounts that give great conversational commentary snippets on experiences and accounts of discrimination, alienation, and racial divisions. This is an ever-prevalent and pertinent album to this day that is just so beautifully crafted. Now, for me personally, I will always remember Donald Glover as Troy Barnes from Community, but you may better associate him with the name Childish Gambino. And what's so impressive about this album is that it just seems so disconnected from the rest of his discography. It's kind of like a detour that creates its own little world, and it feels like a love letter to early funk soul from Gambino's exaggerated, unfiltered vocal inflections, all the way to these heavily wah-wah'd and crying electric guitars. Something infectious that I think Anderson .Paak really brings to the table in Silk Sonic is his expressive delivery. It's one of those voices where you can almost hear him smiling through his teeth while he's singing. Incredibly natural, organic drum timbre. If there's anyone who knows how to ride a pocket and lock into a groove, it's Anderson .Paak. There's a lot of rhythmic variety and ear candy on display. He can lag on the beat and give it that swung, drunk Jay Dilla, unquantized feel if he really wants to as well. The mix on this album is just so full. It really does have that seaside, beach town, liquid smooth vibe that this colorful album cover suggests. And last but not least, here we are with what I believe is the best R&B record of 2016. It's been 10 years, and we Frank Ocean fans are just absolutely starving at this point. I mean, just a crumb would be nice. And I know we got the singles and the botched Coachella IG live stream, I guess, but I get it. You can't rush art. The very first time I heard this album, I thought it was kind of underwhelming, to be honest. It wasn't after multiple re-listens and binge-watching fan covers on YouTube did this album really begin to grow on me. I mean, this album is quite subtle sonically, but it leaves so much space for contemplation. The few textures that do show up are just so unique. The snare drum on Pink and White alone carries this whole album. Casually just having background vocals from Beyonce on her album and having the audacity not to even credit her as a feature. The double, triple entendre wordplay all over Solo. The famous beat switch on Nights. 3 Stacks guest verse on Solo Reprise. Facebook Story being this tragic modern tale of the superficiality of online relationships. The Stevie Wonder sample on Close to You. The Spending Each Day of the Year Beatles Here, There, and Everywhere interpolation on White Ferrari. The Elliott Smith interpolation of It's Just a Fond Farewell to a Friend. The list just goes on, and I've spent so much time with this album, and yet I'm sure there's more I have not yet even uncovered or discovered. And there are endless YouTube analyses and essays just covering the mysterious genius of this album. And if you love this album as much as I do, don't forget about the Apple Music exclusive Endless as well. Great super polished tracks on there, and it would be nice to see something come from Mr. Ocean in 2026. It feels like more than copium to say there's something currently in the woodworks, but I mean, who knows? Maybe Frank worked up the bravery and decided to fulfill his 2 kids and a swimming pool dream. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know in the comments, what is your favorite R&B album or song of 2016? And has any year been comparable in your memory since then? Consider subscribing if you enjoyed, and that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one.